Hi, I'm Steve Adubato. We kick off the show with Dr. Christopher Capuano, president of Fairleigh Dickinson University. Good to see you, Mr. President.
Very nice to see you, Steve. Nice to be with you.
For those who do not know FDU, describe what it is, where it is.
So FDU is a major private university in northern New Jersey. We have two campuses, one in Teaneck and Hackensack, New Jersey, in Bergen County, which is named the Metropolitan Campus because of its proximity to the New York City metro area. And we have another in Florham Park in Madison, New Jersey, which we call the Florham Campus because it's a former Vanderbilt estate, which back then was called the Florham Estate. So today we refer to it as the Florham Campus. We also have two international campuses, one in England, which we've owned and operated since 1965. Actually, we purchased it in 1963 and opened it in 1965. And more recently, we opened a second international campus in British Columbia, Canada, in Vancouver, where we enroll about 1,000 students.
Doctor, let me ask you this. Higher education is more expensive than ever. There are more and more people questioning the value of higher education. I do not. With our kids, others were blessed to be able to do that, send them to college. But you and your colleagues at FDU have decided to, quote, lower tuition. Explain how the heck that works in these incredibly difficult economic times. How does that math add up?
So I'll tell you how it adds up. So what we did in the fall of 2020, at the height of the pandemic, is we announced that beginning in fall of 2021, which was this past fall, that we were going to lower our tuition, which was about $46,000 on each of our two New Jersey campuses, to $32,000. And we did it simply because we're very focused, as we have been for a long time, on improving access and affordability to more students and promoting for more students upward social mobility. So we know that a basic principle of consumerism is cost. If something is perceived to cost too much, many people will look at it and say, can't do it.
Not worth it.
Yeah, or not worth it, absolutely. So that was those were the primary reasons, ideals for why we lowered the tuition to $32,000. Knowing that more people would consider a private university education if the beginning point, the sticker price, were lower. And, this past year, we didn't get a full sense because of the pandemic of what the effect of that might be. But this year now, we're seeing that applications actually in a difficult environment are up. And more students are, in fact, considering FDU as a first choice, which is very nice to see.
Doctor, what do you say to those students and parents of those students who honestly, genuinely do question the value of higher education and whether you really need, in this day and age, a college education, a college degree to be successful, to have a decent quality of life in this country?
Well, what I would say to them, Steve, and I say this to everyone that asks me that question, and certainly we tell all our students who we're educating to look at the data. The data are pretty clear. They have been for a very long time, and they continue to be. When you look at unemployment rates, and those unemployment rates actually have grown for those who don't have a college education, and they remain far lower for those that have a college education. So that's one very important piece of data that people should consider. And when you look at wage earnings, people that have a college education on average make more money, significantly so, than people who don't have a college education. And in fact, it's been reported many times that, over an individual's lifetime, that someone that has a college degree, and I'm not talking about a doctoral degree like you and I have, Steve, I'm talking about just a bachelor's degree, that on average you will likely make $1 million more in lifetime earnings.
$1 million?
You would $1 million more over the course of your life, perhaps 40 years of work with a college degree than if you don't have a college degree. So those data, I think, are very compelling. The gaps on unemployment rates and on wage earnings have actually grown larger during the pandemic. One, might think that they've grown smaller, but in fact, they've grown larger. Those gaps, the wage earnings gap is probably at an all-time high right now.
Quick follow-up on that. You have decided, you and your colleagues from the academic perspective at FDU have decided to specialize in a few areas of study. Just very quickly, what are those areas and why specialize? Yeah, so what we're doing, Steve, in our planning right now is we have offered for a long time about 100, actually more than 100 undergraduate and graduate degree programs. I don't expect that to change very much, but what will change is we're going to better focus what we're doing at each of our campuses. So, for example, at the Metro campus, which I talked to you about earlier, the focus will become a greater focus on offering professional programs, both undergraduate and graduate professional programs. Such as?
Programs in business, which we've done for a very long time, programs in health sciences, in STEM areas more broadly, like engineering, computer science, cybersecurity, programs in hospitality, sports, and tourism management, which is a big area of focus that FDU has been historically, and also the arts, all of which will be grounded firmly in the liberal arts, but not as many liberal arts majors per se. And the other campus where we'll also offer some professional programs will have a stronger focus on liberal arts majors for students who might be interested in those majors. But what we're trying to do actually is differentiate, make our campuses more distinctive in what each is offering. So it's not that we're going to become more specialized per se in terms of our offerings. We're going to become more focused or better differentiated when it comes to what each of our campuses is doing.
Before I let you go, I've taught at several universities. I do seminars in person and remotely. In person makes all the difference, but remote teaching can work. 30 seconds or less. Will remote learning, a hybrid whatever, be part of higher education for the foreseeable future?
I think hybrid certainly will. Remote for most 18 to 20-year-olds, 18 to 22-year-olds, I think is not an ideal learning modality. I think there has to be a strong element of in-person learning to connect with many of these students. So that's where I see the future going. But certainly we need to do more hybrid.
Dr. Chris Capuano, president of Fairleigh Dickinson University, I want to thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Nice to see you.
You got it. I'm Steve Adubato. That is President Capuano. We'll be right back.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by Holy Name, Delta Dental of New Jersey, Prudential Financial, NJM Insurance Group, Operating Engineers, Local 825, NJ Best, New Jersey's 529 College Savings Plan, and by the New Jersey Education Association. Promotional support provided by Meadowlands Chamber and by NJ Biz.
Are you looking to be a part of a dynamic, forward-thinking business service organization? At the Meadowlands Chamber, every day we connect, collaborate, and innovate, helping to drive business and economic growth in the greater Meadowlands and New Jersey. I invite you to visit our Meadowlands Chamber headquarters, an open office facility with access to resources for our members' businesses and networking needs. Together, we will build the Chamber of the future and the next generation of leaders.